Hey, welcome back to Leah's Leaves. Today I'm processing eggplant. Doing 3 ways. The first is a roasted eggplant and roasted pepper Puttanesca sauce that I got out of the fall canning book. I'll post the recipe in the description below. The second way is blanched and frozen. I'll post that link below. I'm not doing too much of this. It does lose some of its original texture, but when it thaws, it's great in soups and stir fries and whatnot. You just can't roast it or bake it like you would a raw eggplant, but it's something to do, and you actually can freeze eggplant. This is what the Puttanesca sauce looks like. It's a chunky pasta sauce it has tomatoes, onions, red bell peppers, lots of eggplant, red wine, anchovies, capers, and a little bit of spice. I used some sweet marjoram, salt and pepper, and some garlic. Turned out really well too. And it's great on a bed of pasta or rice. Or probably, I haven't tried it yet, but I think it would be really good on top of some eggs. And the third way I'm doing it is chips. Making eggplant chips. I found a recipe online for doing oven dehydrating. I have a dehydrator, but it's packed in an unmarked box. So I'm just going to use my oven set at the lowest temperature, which for me is 170. And it'll take several hours. I'll check them after 3 or 4 hours, see how they're going. It might take up to 6 hours with the thicker pieces, but I have them seasoned with, they're tossed in olive oil and then seasoned with a mixture of paprika, cayenne, garlic powder, some Italian seasoning, salt, and pepper. This is day 2. I wanted to show you the final result of all of those eggplant projects. This is a delicious bowl of pasta with some Puttanesca sauce on it. You can see the chunks of eggplant. These red ones are a combination of roasted pepper and roasted tomato. And it processed with a water bath canning, so you don't need a pressure canner to make this kind of sauce and can it. Just a nice big stock pot like this one here. This is the pot that I used. And so it's a very simple way of canning, and it tastes delicious on a bed of pasta. Also got a couple of quarts of frozen eggplant. I didn't do many of these. I peeled them first, and then I had to blanch them in boiling water, and then you shock them in ice water, and then you drain them and get them fairly dry. And then I pre-froze them on a cookie sheet laid out in a single layer so that they wouldn't get all chunked up inside the bag. And then I bagged them up. So for only a couple quarts of eggplant, that was actually a pretty time-consuming process. So I'm not going to do more that way, but I'm glad that I have a couple quarts of frozen eggplant to use over the winter. And these chips turned out terrific. They ended up in the oven for almost 8 hours. It took the full length that the recipe suggested it might, I think, because I had them about a 1/4 inch thick cut, but they're crunchy and they snap perfectly just like chips are supposed to. What I did was at the end of their cooking time, when I felt like they were pretty firm and getting crunchy, I just turned the heat off completely and then let them sit in the oven overnight. And so this morning I pulled them out, and they're sufficiently dry and ready to be packed up in a jar with a couple of little desiccant packets to keep the moisture out so they don't get moldy while we're snacking on them. The beautiful thing about these is I made a spicy version, but you don't have to. Eggplant will take on whatever flavor you're cooking with. So you could make a batch with lemon pepper. You could just do salt and pepper, salt and vinegar, garlic, any spice of your preference. You can make them as hot. You can add more cayenne, less cayenne, no cayenne, Asian seasonings, Italian seasonings, anything you want. I think the next batch I'm going to do is just going to be garlic and garlic powder, salt and pepper, just so I have a different flavor. But anyway, it was a terrific and fairly easy way to process a bunch of those Japanese eggplants. I hope you will try all these different ways of preserving eggplant. Go to a produce auction like I did and end up with 4 boxes of eggplant. you have a lot of eggplant to deal with. But these were 3 completely different and yet very creative and tasty ways to process the eggplant. So give it a shot. Check the description below for the details. I'm learning a lot and sharing it here, and I hope you'll come grow with me. Bye.